Wall Street, stocks, Forex. Why do so few women do stuff like this?
Oh, I think they're intimidated.
They're afraid of numbers, I think.
Men handle finances, so they go, we'll leave that to the men.
Yeah.
I think it's a space that women kind of just go, ugh.
Yeah.
They look at it and they think, I'm going to have a 10-year degree to be able to even start to attempt to look at this and understand it. I know these were all reservations we had prior to learning this skill.
How'd you get into trading?
Oh my gosh.
You're the gateway drug.
I am the guilty one. I'm the guilty one. It's a lot of years of trying to find a way to both create an income and be a fully present mom. And Jen and I, especially from the moment we met, which was 10 years ago, had always sought out this goal of being able to provide a substantial income, but also be able to be home with our babies. That was our top priority. So we had tried affiliate marketing, MLMs.
All the things that you can think of online.
All the things that you can think
that
of.
are flashing at you every day.
Yes. All of the, get rich quick sort of schemes. And day trading kind of came across my
got
screen.
Scammed prior,
I did get scammed.
So she wanted someone else to do it for her.
Yes.
And then got scammed.
Because we thought that that's what you had to do. We had no idea you could actually trade.
On your own.
Yeah.
We didn't know that the average person could learn this skill and implement this skill successfully.
Yeah, because I think like you're on Wall Street, you're hooked up to some
Yes,
sort of
yes.
special
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
and there's people running around,
Well,
and you have
think
to
of
hold
the
something up in the air.
wolf
It's
of Wall
like,
Street.
We,
Yeah.
we always explain that, like, we thought you had to be a bold man with, like, driving
Driving
home
home
and screaming at each other.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
what we all
Angry,
thought trading
yeah.
was, right?
Exactly.
those suits with like the big shoulder pads,
Yes.
Sweaty armpits and
power poses.
Yes, exactly. And so when it came into my life, I was like, look, I don't know what this is, Jen. We should learn this together. It's called daily trading.
I'm like, heck yes, we should.
I literally called it daily trading. And she was like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know, but I think we can do it. Let's learn it together.
And we're going to get rich.
We're going to do it. Yeah. And we just started diving in and realized actually this is a really interesting industry. And the more we learned, the more we fell in love with it. And then I started to spread the word about it to other women because I wanted other women. I saw the power and potential of what it could do for me and my family. And I started to talk about it on social media, and Gemma found me talking about
New
it
Zealand.
all the way from New Zealand.
Found Amanda on TikTok, and I was like, she's speaking my love language, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I always said. What drew me in was like the time freedom, and she was traveling in her RV with her kids, and then I got into her Facebook group, and I was like, ugh, day trading, yuck. But like, then was also on that. Like serial entrepreneur, right? You're like, what else? What have I not done? And trading was one of those things. I'd been investing into crypto. So I was like, hey, this is kind of in that same space.
Yeah.
And I guess it was like once you kind of get introduced to that space and you see the wealth within it, you're like, oh, okay, there's a whole nother life to be lived. And there's a whole nother ecosystem of money that we never were introduced to prior to trading.
Or even the concepts of compounding your money, investing your money, growing it, passive income. Yeah, all of those topics that people think you have to have some sort of special certification or degree or smarts in order to accomplish.
Or you hear about
success
it, but
here.
you're like, how does Gemma
Yes.
says this all the time. How does the average everyday person actually make that happen?
Right.
Yeah, because you read those books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you're like, cool, I want to be in that quadrant.
Right.
But how do I do that? Right? It's like, this sounds amazing,
Yeah.
but I only know how to trade my time for money. So
Right.
how else do I learn to make passive income and compound upon that and leverage it and then invest it? And so we were in that ecosystem, and I think that got the three of us hooked. We're like, okay, I don't care how long this takes. We're going to do this, and we're going to do this together. And that's what bonded, obviously, me with you guys. You had been best friends for 10 years. And I was like, I'm in this with you. And they're like, okay, we'll take you on. We'll accept you.
We'll adopt you.
We'll adopt you because
You
you're
just make it
crazy.
We were
Instantly
instant. Yes, we were instant.
So the day trading thing was in a long line of like things that you guys have tried and failed and scams and online and make money online. And would you like to work from home and all the ads that we all kind of saw?
Yeah.
What was it about trading that you saw it and you were like, yes, this is the one. I'm confident. The other ones didn't work, but this is the one.
Yeah.
The uncapped potential of income when we saw like literally the sky is the limit. Like I had never seen anything that had given you, and the fact that it only relied on you. You didn't have you didn't have to make a sale in order to, it just relied on you and your tenacity to never give up, like to continue to pursue.
Yeah.
It was like we knew that as long as we never stopped putting one foot in front of the other, we would get to the top of the mountain.
And it's you against you in this space.
Exactly.
You're not, like Jen was saying, we don't have to sell to somebody or provide a product or provide a service in order to get an income. It's just you against you. And if you can conquer your mindset and your emotions, the sky is the limit in this space.
So here's the $1 million question. Ready?
Yep.
What actually is it?
Ooh. I feel like that's a me question. So there are these big investors, right? These big banks and institutions that are flushing trillions of dollars through these markets every single day.
$7 trillion a day.
Yeah. And so we are, as retail traders, so I always give this analogy. Should I give the analogy?
Yes, do it.
There's these big whales, okay? Those are the big banks and institutions. And us as retail traders are like the little sucker fish on the side of the whales that are just kind of hitching a ride, right? So the whales are pushing the market in one direction or the other. It is not our goal to predict the market or guess what's going to happen next or try to beat the market or win the market or outsmart it. We're just looking to identify what's happening right now, which is printed out on a screen pretty easily to see. It's either moving up or down or sideways. And we're looking to get in with that movement. And that's how we make our money.
And that's how the whales feed the minnows.
Exactly.
And I think when you said that, I think that's the beautiful ecosystem we've created here, right? Because we say this all the time. There are thousands of ways to trade these markets, okay? When you learn and you understand what different indicators and things you can put on your charts, you soon realize, whoa, there are thousands of ways to get in and out and timeframes to trade these markets, right? And so when we first were learning the skill, we were learning it from men and women, but learning it in more of a complex way with multiple indicators and different things. And through us going, okay, there's got to be an easy way to read these markets for the average woman to come in and learn this skill.
Right.
And it was honestly through all of us, but Amanda kind of going, okay, she hit the charts for thousands of hours and then brought the ideas back to Jen and myself and we're like, okay, she's like, try this out. I've figured this. I've back-tested this. I've tried this out. And me and Jen are like, okay, let's try it out.
Yeah, literally. I would come to them with an idea. I'm like, at 2 a.m, okay, I've got this new concept. Here's what we're going to look at. And they would just go and put it to action. And Jen would be like, yep, it works. I'm making money. I'm like, sweet. So then we would take it to the women who wanted to learn from us. And it just continued to grow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Amanda has a beautiful way of simply teaching so anybody can learn. So whether you've been in the markets for, 5 years, or if you haven't heard of it at all, she can make it so simple and easy that anybody can understand how to read a chart. We've had women express to us that they've been in the markets for, several years and have not made any money at all. And they come in for 2 weeks and they're
finally
seeing
profitable
profits in their accounts. And it's been really neat to watch her, for being friends for a long time, just watching her explode in that way of, she always wanted to help people. She always wanted to teach. She always had a knack for it, but to find that perfect place to teach in has just been so incredible to watch.
Sweet. Thanks, Jen.
You do.
This is very sweet, by the way.
I'm just
sitting there and I'm just kind of like, wow, this is really sweet.
I told you we can talk.
Okay, so you explain what it is.
Yep.
Okay. How do you do it? And I don't mean what's the strategy? I mean how physically do you hook yourself on the back of a wheel and trade in the direction of the market?
Oh boy. Okay. So So there are foreign exchange brokers that people all over the world can have access to. There are U.S. regulated brokers. There are unregulated offshore brokers. We encourage women to go and do their own research and decide what broker is going to work best for them.
Because we have women from all over the world.
Yes.
We have women
Thousands.
joining from all countries. And so being able to encourage them to, have the power to do their own research, find their brokers in their country. It's been so cool to watch them be like, I'm in this country, I know this broker, and it's a way for them to connect with one another too.
Yeah. And so when they first come into our program, we encourage them to start on a demo account. So they'll come in and they'll learn from our system. They will practice in a demo account, which is fake money, but practicing in the live markets. And they can stay in that demo mode for as long as they want to. Usually they're too excited and they start up a live account right away.
And we teach them. They learn the skill. I think a lot of people, if you aren't in these markets, you think, okay, maybe that phase is weeks. It's 1 hour.
Yeah.
So once they come in, our strategy is 3 steps. So they'll come in, they'll get a demo set up, they'll learn our strategy. Amanda shows them how to place a trade, and then they join our live calls. So that's an hour
worth of time
that they come in and have all that done. Pretty amazing.
We remind them that it's the system, the trading, that's actually really easy. It's the mindset that they have to usually overcome. There's things that, financial, you talk about poverty mindset. You talk about, moving from the poverty mindset to prosperity mindset. There's just a lot of things in that journey that they have to overcome.
And most people who join trading are still working full time. And this is something I talk a lot about. So Jen and I are the mindset coaches, personal development coach and mindset coach in the space that back up the trading. And I say to these women, in a 9 to 5, it's the opposite mindset as what you need while you're trading, right? In a 9 to 5, you get told exactly what to do, when to do it, how long you can do this for, do that for, here are your jobs, here are your tasks, don't mess up, do your best. In a trading environment, I'm like, fail as quick as possible, fail as often as possible, learn the lessons. You can't avoid it. Go straight through it. You can see money fluctuate in minutes. You don't trade your time for money. At first, it's a compound effect. And so it's reprogramming everything about that so that they don't bring their employee minds into the trading world.
Because they're going to be taking action in these markets and they're going to be actually placing those trades, right? So they have to follow a system. So when they go in and analyze the charts and identify whether the 3 steps are there or not, then they go into their broker, and that's where they go and physically place those trades, whether it's a buy or a sell opportunity. The way we like to trade is actually very passive. So we trade on a higher time frame, the 4-hour or the daily time frame. And so these women are able to go in and place trades in 10 minutes or less for their day. And then the trades just run on their behalf so they can go and live their life. Because if you remember, freedom and being a fully present mom has always been our priority. And when we first started trading, we were on the charts for 8 hours a day. We were obsessed.
That was the opposite of what we wanted.
But also, we were learning strategies that had us literally staring at the charts all day long. And I was like, no, God, there's got to be a different way because I can't do this. This is not... So we teach women how to set up pending orders.
How to manage from their phones or set them up from their phones.
Right.
So if you're at the beach or you've got to go to soccer practice or dance lessons or whatever you do with your kids, you've got that freedom to not feel like I've got to be on the charts at this time or I've got to have 6 screens in front of me, or we wanted it to be on the go because all our lives are on the go now, right? So it's like you can have it in your back pocket. It can be passive. You can do it 10 minutes a day. So if you are still working full time, you can fit it in. And if you're not, then you can just be at home and doing the things that we're actually here to do, right?
Right. That's right.
Well, and a lot of the women too are still working full time. So a lot of them have, 9 to 5 or 6 to 10, some people are working so full time. And we've had women who are able to pass prop firms. Prop
That's
firms.
a whole other topic, which we can
talk more about. But
what the
if
heck
you
is
are,
a prop firm?
it's pretty awesome. You get access to a lot of capital on behalf of somebody else's. They front the money. You just have to pass a challenge. But just the fact that they can either grow accounts, they can learn the skill and put it to use 10 minutes a day. Like we have busy working women who come in and can spend 10 minutes in the chart every day and manage their trades that way. They learn how to use the skill so efficiently and effectively. And I think that that's so powerful. We want to be efficient and effective.
And we've just come off a real high, like as in our community this week is just smashed.
We've probably had over 100
serious
women.
goals past prop firms, like gain access to over 100
6 figures of capital,
$200,000 capital from their prop firms.
Right, so we're really pumped up and excited.
It's pretty amazing when you get to be on the other side and you get to see somebody come in
winning
and have never looked at a chart in their life and then pass a prop firm, and you see the losses and the mindset work, and you see them being like, can I do this? I don't know. And we're like, you've got this. This is normal. It's okay to feel this. It's okay to process. We're here for you. And there's thousands of other women who are on this journey with you, right? So they're all in there and supporting, and it's okay, and keep going, another step, another day. And then they pass a prop firm and you're just like, whoa, like it's the best feeling in the world. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty awesome when you see somebody go from that to that, and we're not even a year old yet, so it's like, wow.
So why did you decide to start a community, and why did you decide to start it just for women?
Love that.
I think when we first started, like I wouldn't still be trading if it wasn't for these two. And I think trading or any entrepreneurial thing that you set out to do can be a very lonely journey. I think you understand that. But when you have a group of people who are encouraging one another, lifting one another up, I know like with Skool, you guys have a team and you're in it together and you have camaraderie. We needed that in order to, keep going. And sometimes there would be times that I'd be pulling Amanda up the mountain, and then Gemma would be up here and she'd be lifting us up. And we just had this vision and this mission to see it expand. And we know, women are, when we have money, we are so generous. And I think it's so powerful for women to have that position. I remember thinking, I'm so grateful that I was the one that found trading and I was the one that pursued it, because I got to help my family, my children, and just to imagine, starting that for other women. Imagine encouraging women into that space and to have that power and to be able to, retire their husbands if they want to, be able to, shop like they can go and spend money in the shops and just give and do.
And as far as creating a for women space, as we spoke about earlier, it's just it's a really male dominated industry and can be really intimidating for women. I mean, gosh, I get on there and I'm like, what is the percentage of this? And I'm like, they laugh at me because it's Amanda math and I don't know how to count, but I can teach you trading,
That's always our joke.
And so
we
it's kind of like,
we didn't qualify at school. And we
that's
were
the pitch. That's the about page video.
Couldn't second math, but we know how to count dollars.
Yes.
You looked at us.
But I can count what's in my bank account, baby.
Come on.
Yeah, and so we just wanted to create a space that women could come and feel safe and supported and be able to ask kind of silly questions.
And not feel stupid if you don't know the answer, right? Because I think people think you've got to know everything. And a lot of the times we're like, we don't know that, but we're still super successful.
What is 1% of 100?
For the longest time, I kept calling it $10, and like, the girls ladies
are like, are you sure it's not $1?
Yeah.
And we do have a male side.
We do.
So we do also have Forex for Men, which is kind of a branch of Forex for Women. Our communities are like the men have their own space, the women have their own space. We just chose that because everybody else offers a space for men to come in. It's a little bit more masculine, which is really cool. I think it's important to have, but nobody really offered a space
for
just
women.
for women, right? And so we were like, why not? That is what got us to thrive, and why not create that?
Yeah, and as soon as we did, it was like we didn't realize how many women were looking for a space like that. And our community has just grown massively.
And I always say this, as women, everything's combined, right? Like I think men tend to organize things in categories and kind of segregate things out a bit, you know? Where women, it's like everything is intertwined. Yeah. Our finances are intertwined with our motherhood, that's intertwined with our relationships, that is intertwined with everything. And so we were like, yes, our ultimate goal is to teach you trading, but we're here to level you up in all areas, because we know once we start talking money, we start talking emotions. Once we start healing your emotions, we know that's going to not only affect your health, your family, your kids, your marriage, and that is even more rewarding than just seeing someone being because once before that can happen, before money can even start to come in, you have to heal that side of you. And so to see the women come in and that transition start to happen, and they say, hey, I remember the one woman, this was one thing that just hit me hard. She was like, the books you recommend on your book club and the mindset calls that I've been turning up to, it's had such a drastic change in my life that my kids have started speaking differently, and their teachers said to me, what are you doing? Because your kids are different. They're turning up at school and they're happy and all these things are changing. And she was like, whoa, she had that light bulb moment of spending a little bit of time with us, changed her beliefs in herself, which caused her to turn up differently, parent differently, treat her children differently, which then had a ripple effect to the teachers in her school. And it's just like, this is why women need to be empowered. And sometimes through motherhood, or when you get a little bit older in life, when you're out of that, like, trying to discover who you are, you kind of lose yourself a little bit again, right? And so it's like coming into that space of, I get to reform my life in a way that I choose it to be, not how everybody else has told me to be, how to be, what to do, what is good for you, what is not good for you. Most of the time, if people aren't aware of that, other people are creating their realities, right?
For sure.
Yep.
I have a theory that, like, everyone on Skool, if you really strip back what they do, like, I believe we're all in the business of transforming people's lives.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the niche is literally just like a way to do it.
A gateway,
It's a Trojan horse. It's like, hey, do you want to learn trading? And then it's like, and then you pop onto the horse. It's like, get them on the motherhood stuff. Get them on the motherhood stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like the sneak attack. And like you can do that with like any niche. It's like, doesn't matter if it's Forex, doesn't matter if it's social media, it doesn't matter. And it's like literally, it's like, so it's a classic thing. It's like you sell what people want so you can give them what they need. And they get into the community, and like every successful community is like this, like, hi, I know you're here to learn X, but actually, we're going to talk about mindset. It's like, do you know what? It's like, how's your sleep? Are you sleeping good right now? It's like, and your relationships. Talk to me about that. Because as you say, it's like we are integrated beings. And I do agree with you. I think especially women, in my experience, it's like the fact that you can use something like day trading and Forex, it's really the hero's journey. It's not about slaying the dragon. It's the person you become on the way to become slaying the dragon. And the end of the hero's journey in Lord of the Rings, which we were kind of joking about before, is you go back home and you share the treasure.
Yeah.
That's what the hero's journey is all about. And in your case, sometimes it's big bags of actual dollars.
Right.
But it's also, like you said, it's for your kids, for your community, for your marriage.
It's a legacy.
It's a legacy. 100%. So, like, what was it like to get your first few members in? How did that start to grow?
That was so lovely.
Where did you find these people? How did they find you?
They found us.
Social media is the place where I've always kind of shared my journey with trading for about 3 years. And then we started our community. And
we just had a Facebook group. I think the biggest thing was when we finally were like, whoa, this is working. This is not just like we're figuring out
success in
this
trading.
This is working now. And naturally, women, I mean, if you like a lipstick, you're going to share it, right? Like, women are just like, oh, when you find something that's good, you're like I always ask Amanda, send me the links to your sets that you're wearing today because I love it and I want one, right? So women are like, when we find something that's good,
we get excited.
We're like, yes, everybody needs this dress or they need this, whatever it is.
Exactly.
And so obviously, as we figured this out, we're like, every woman, and this is honestly our philosophy and even our price point, right? Is because we've said every woman deserves to at least have a shot in this space.
Have access to the information where there's no barrier to entry. So when we first started this company, we tossed around a lot of different ideas of how are we going to charge? What is our plan for this? Tossed around it being free. We didn't really know what to do. But we chose a really low price point compared to a lot of the education out there, not to beat the competition or whatever, but just to provide a space that any woman from every walk of life, no matter where she is in the world, no matter what her economic background is or her educational background, could have access to this information. That's how much value we see in it. And
we've spent thousands learning this skill set, right? So we know it's not like we're like, okay, we did one little thing and learned it. Like we tried multiple ways to kind of master these markets, right? And honestly, we have something like we're 5 calls a week, you know? So we literally have, it's when I think a lot of people say when it's a lower price point, you think, oh, maybe there's not going to be that much stuff, but it could very easily be a high ticket.
It's our passion project.
Yeah, and that's what we always come back to is this is our passion project. This is for women to come and, like we say, learn this skill and have access to these markets and grow and learn and transform their lives in all areas.
Before we even had Forex for Women, people were like, Amanda, are you going to teach us somehow?
Yes.
And so
they constantly kept banging,
it just was a matter of, it wasn't like we had to, coerce anybody into, they all wanted, they're like, we want what you have. We want to be near you.
We're literally like, what's in our hearts? Yeah. What do we feel passionate about? And then we don't even think think about it. Honestly, we don't plan things out. We're like, what feels good? We just run our business on energy. It is literally that is it. We're like, no business plan
adrenaline and heart, and that is it.
That's it. We're like, does this feel good? Yep. Is it in the benefit of others?
Yes.
Yep. We're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's literally how this
we don't know how we're going to get there, but we're going to get there.
Yeah. And then we say we've got this beautiful Facebook group that's like our ecosystem of majority of the people in there that, there's a big portion of it of our community now, but a lot of people who are just kind of coming in and seeing, are these women legit? Like,
what is daily trading?
What is this daily trading stuff? And then just so many women that are just like, you got to do it. You got to come in. And it's a beautiful thing. We're just kind of relaxed about it. We're like, the people that are meant to come are going to naturally just come, right? We don't.
If it's meant for them, they'll find it.
Like, you got to learn trading.
But I think when our first few people started, we were like, whoa. Yeah, what? This is happening. Okay, we really gotta make sure we're doing this good.
Oh God, they're gonna spend money. They're gonna spend money in the market.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Mostly like, can we handle this many people?
It kind of grew. Honestly, it really started growing really fast. And that's when the three of us were like, okay,
we need a Mel.
We don't really.
Mel is our business manager, and she is a gift from God because we were literally sitting in the corner going,
we saw all these emails pouring in and people wanting stuff, and we're like, we're like, okay, let's get somebody else who enjoys the back end of the business.
Yeah, Mel's awesome. Like all my interactions with Mel, she's been a killer.
She's the best.
I already know it's like, bro, she's like an operator. Yeah, she is. That's just like from the 1 or 2 short interactions with her. I'm like, yep.
Yeah. She's literally, she keeps us in line. We're her little ducks.
Yeah. We're the crazy manifestors, and we're like, this and that, and she's like, okay, one at a time, one thing at a time, okay, like let's just get this going, and we're like, this idea, and it's gonna be amazing, and so, but that's what makes it amazing, right? Is having a team who, both Mel and Ashley were traders, so they were part of our community. Cool. They caught our vision.
So you guys promoted from within.
Of our
basically,
movement,
yes.
Well,
right?
They promoted themselves from within.
They did. They actually
Which is why they are where they are.
You need help.
Yes.
Let me help you. Okay. Jumped in our DMs and was just like,
she was like, I think you need my help.
And we're like,
yes, we do.
Please.
What can you do?
Please.
All of that? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we definitely need you.
So funny. So for your own journeys, each of you individually as traders leaders, like what was the moment where you're like, holy shit, this is actually working?
When I implemented the system that Amanda told me. And
so you were like the first disciple?
Yeah, she was.
Always. In all of her missions, I always
Yep.
Love that. You ever heard that thing where it's like the most important person is not the leader, it's actually the first follower?
So it's literally, she was always the one, she always has trusted everything that I have suggested or said, and she just fully believed in me. And so everything that I ever said, let's try this, she was like, yeah. Let's do it.
Because without the first follower, you're just a crazy person.
What is it? Yeah. Literally.
And I think every time we would implement that,
It
Gemma
gave
and
me
myself,
confidence.
she was like, oh, this actually works. It's not just working for me.
Yeah.
It's
So it
working
was like
for
this
my...
feedback loop,
Yeah.
right? Because
Love
when you're
that.
in discovery phase, you're like, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me was, honestly, like, for me at the beginning, what I really struggled with was duplicating what I'd learned. So I'm such a visual person, and I'd learn the strategy, and then the next day I'd go and implement it, and I'd be like, but that doesn't look the same as the example you showed me, and I'm trying to replicate a system that isn't easily replicatable, right? So it's like every market is slightly different, and so it was very hard for me initially to even compound, because I couldn't even enter the trades, right? Like the systems that we were trying to learn and replicate, it was like, wow, I was even struggling to place the trades because my analysis, there were so many
Didn't
things that
match.
had to line up, but every day the charts were slightly different. And I was like, that's at the beginning where I was like, man, I don't know. And I think it was just that beautiful trial and error where we came across these hurdles and we're like, man, this is the part where we're struggling with. And then Amanda would be like, okay, I think it's just this and this. And then we'd go, okay. So I'm just looking for this and this and this. Okay, that's easier. I can do that. And so it was through us kind of struggling and testing, and then she'd go, okay, I can hear what they're saying here. This is the part that they aren't understanding, or this is that glitch that we need to try and systemize.
The missing
or,
connection.
Yeah, and then you'd go
Yeah.
back into the charts and be like, okay,
No, it's just this.
it's this and
Yeah.
that, and then, and so it's kind of like our strategy, kind of through these minor adjustments. It was like, okay, this could get easier. And our motto is it gets to be easy and fun, right? Like that's what we say all the time is it gets to be easy and fun, because in this industry, it's taught the opposite, right?
Yeah, you're told it's
So-
hard and you're going to fail. And so we decided before we were ever going to teach other people, we were going to brainwash them into believing it was going to be easy.
Well, we're
and
ultimate
you know what?
manifestors, right? So we're like, our words
Whatever
have
you
so
believe
much power.
is what is. If you say it's hard, it's going to be hard for you. And every mentor I ever had throughout my journey kept saying, this is so hard. This is so hard. You're going to fail. It's so hard. And guess what? For 3 years, it was hard and I failed. But because I didn't have any belief that I could actually do it. And when I finally stepped away from all the noise that was going on and everybody telling me how hard it was going to be, and I just looked at the charts from a very simplistic, kindergarten-like view, and I was like, actually, this is really easy. Like I said earlier, the markets only go 3 directions. It's really not that complicated. And when I uncomplicated it and brought it down to ground zero, started teaching my children, I was like, oh, this is so much easier. And it was like the pieces just connected, and everything started to flow. Money started to come in. My account started to compound consistently. Every single week they were growing and growing and growing. And then I would teach them, and then their accounts were growing, and you had your biggest withdrawal ever. And then the women that I was teaching, it's like the biggest moment of understanding what our success has been the people around me and me seeing the success of our education and our...
So this is really interesting. There's like an entrepreneurial theory that says there's only 2 types of entrepreneurs. You're either a simplifier or you're a multiplier.
Right.
You're obviously the simplifier. But what simplifiers need is they need multipliers around them.
Right.
And that sounds like what these guys have done.
Literally.
That's so cool.
That's cool.
Why have I never heard that before?
Yeah, I love that.
I needed to hear that from you.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll give you, there's a book and stuff on it afterwards.
That's
I'll-
Oh, you're speaking my love language. Yes. Oh, I love it. And I've had this epiphany that oftentimes when the mentors would say it's hard, it was actually their ego talking. They wanted to look like the hero in the
Right.
situation. They wanted to look like you're not going to learn from
Interesting.
anybody anybody but me.
The Dragon Slayer.
I'm the Dragon Slayer. I'm conquering the hard. But you've known that you always just want to set your ego aside.
I didn't want to do it for anybody.
No.
I wanted them to actually be able to do it. All
And
of us did.
we say this always to all the women is this isn't everybody starts at the same starting line, right? I say this, everybody's going to come into this. Some people have going to tried, they've been an entrepreneur for years. Some have done the mindset work, some hasn't. And so, one woman can come in and within 48 hours, boom, she's placing trades. She's within a week, she's like, okay, I'm just going to go live. I'm like ready,
making money.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful thing. And then another woman might be like, you know what? I'm going to be on a demo account for 3 to 6 months because this is my first time being an entrepreneur. This is my first time in the space. I've got a lot of kind of emotional, sometimes generational traumas being passed down here, right?
Oh,
so
for sure.
it's like
One of the podcasts we did earlier was actually all about money trauma and financial trauma.
Wow.
I was
We
like,
need to
yo,
talk to that
we
person.
do not realize, unless you've done the work, you do not realize how deep, far into your lineage that actually
Poverty
does
mindset.
get passed down until you're faced with something that you have to take the action on, not your boss, not the person next to you, but you, right? And so I think that's the beautiful thing here is we want everybody around us to come in. We want you to surpass us. We want we want everybody to go at what pace feels good for you. And that's why having this space where we give you the steps, it's simple. You join us live, but outside of that, you're running this race at the pace that works for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're taking their own action.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like educators and companies out there that will call out trades and things like that. We don't do that here.
No,
Our women are taking their own trades. They
Yeah.
know exactly what they're doing in these markets, which is really powerful.
Yeah, but that's like the difference between, I don't know how much therapy you guys have done, but it's it's the difference between the therapist that's like, yep, it's gonna be a 12-week thing versus the psychiatrist is like, I want you to work with me forever and never ever leave, and we're going to become very codependent. And actually, if you get better, then you'll leave me, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
We always say, Gemma's always like, look, you could literally come in for 30 days, pay $35 one time, and walk away with this skill forever.
Yep.
Within an hour, within an hour, you'll know whether or not this is for you. Come and jump on our mindset calls.
Yep.
And I always say, even if trading isn't for you, because you're never going to know unless you try it, right? Like you can judge it from the outside, but until you experience it, really, you're not going to know. And I say, but you will leave a more empowered person. So you can come in.
And with the skill.
With a skill.
A lifetime skill that you can literally pass to your children. If this is a legacy skill.
How did you guys come across Skool? And why did you decide to win the Skool games?
Yeah. Mel.
Should we break it to him that we didn't even know that there was Skool games?
Yeah,
Oh, that was the biggest flex I've ever heard.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't know.
You
Mel.
got a message, congratulations, you won the Skool games. You're like, I won what?
What? Wait, what?
Kind of.
No,
kind of.
there was a kind of like a fusion that got us here. But I had actually, prior to us joining Skool, one of the courses I purchased, they ran through Skool. And we were and we had always been going, we want an app.
Right.
We want an app. That was our next goal.
Right,
Right.
because we
need
were
an app.
using Discord and it was not
It was
working.
messy.
Yes.
We're like women Discord and that
it was not
bridge and that barrier and
It worked for the time.
Yeah.
but we
It
needed
was our stepping
we needed
stone.
needed
an
an
upgrade.
upgrade. Yeah.
And then when I was like, I think we need this. We had just switched our systems over to a
whole nother-
different portal.
Yeah.
We were there for 2 months or something. Like it wasn't long, 2 to 3 months.
And then we found Skool
and then
we were like,
Skool and
yeah.
we're like, we're gonna have to move again now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we're not gonna wait. We're like, maybe we wait 6 months. We've just done it, and we're like,
No.
nah.
Because you know how it
wait.
is to move
Right?
people over
Like,
from one
it's a
system.
massive
Huge migration.
thing.
It is, especially
we
with
had just
thousands of
done it.
members.
Oh.
So we were like, this is a big call to make, but we knew this would be home, right? We knew once we had an app that could house and do majority of the things we needed.
That sounds like I'm going to get a feature request after the podcast.
You probably
Which we're totally
talked-
open to.
You
Yeah, I would
probably
say-
talked with
I know
Mel
it.
a lot because
Yeah.
she's put a lot of requests in,
Yeah.
and you guys are amazing.
Well, you guys are crushing it on the all-time leaderboard. I don't know if you know about that.
No.
No, tell us.
Oh, guys, Let me pull it up here right now, okay? So there's the Skool games, right?
Okay, watch
So
out.
good with
This is
numbers.
so awesome. So there's like a monthly competition, okay? Which is what you guys won, by the
Yeah.
way. Just so you know.
Thank you.
That's why you're here in Vegas.
That's why we're here,
Hanging out with
okay.
Alex Ramosi, okay?
We
That's
figured that
good.
out,
Okay, we got that far.
We
That's
do
excellent.
know who he is, by the way.
Yeah.
We're so
That was the
excited.
next question. Who's that?
We're not. Okay,
We're not
please.
that bad.
So that's the monthly leaderboard, and then there's an all-time. You guys are 4th in the whole of Skool with $108,360 per month.
What's number one?
Number one is, guys, it's only $130.
What?
Do you know what? Currently, we are more than that. So once
Yeah, we just
everybody
have-
rolls through,
Everybody still has to.
we're going to be number
Sure.
one.
So number 3, currently Kyle, awesome guy. He's 110.
Wow.
So you're like
You know,
$1,700 away
How
from being in the top
incredible
3.
is
That's
that
three
you
moms.
have, but that you have a community in Skool of successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's really
I feel
cool.
like I feel so blessed to be in this space, to be among people who are pursuing not only the best versions of themselves, but helping other people to become the
Yeah,
best version of
that's
themselves.
pretty cool.
It's a
Because-
community of community owners.
Yes.
And like everything that you've expressed with like the joy and the passion oozing out of you guys, like every community leader feels that way about
Yeah.
their people.
Yeah.
It might be about Forex for Women, but it's about
Right, yeah.
social media for seniors or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like to collect all those people together and
Yeah.
learn from each other, it's like it's so
It's
so
all out of the desire, like you said earlier, to help others.
Yes.
That's what all of those people are. That is the coolest thing.
Well, and
And
we,
to be surrounded by those like-minded people as well is pretty cool.
and we know that when you lead with the like mindset of generosity and to help and to create something that's going to help others, that monthly recurring revenue is only a byproduct
Yeah.
of what you're creating.
for sure.
And when you said that, I just had that moment of, wow, here are 3 mums, right? 3 mums
Friggin'
that just had just decided to give back in a massive way. Like, I'm so proud of us. And I know, and I don't mean to say that in a way like I'm proud of us, but, I think when I remember in my entrepreneurial journey, I always used to look up to my mentors and be like, they're just so different to me, or like there was similarities, but I was like, how am I ever going to get from where I am to where they are, right? And now for us to be in that space where, we've surpassed some of our mentors, we're number 4, and we're not anybody special. We're just 3 mums who had a passion, and here we are. That's pretty in less than a year since
I
we've
say this
launched.
nearly every episode because you guys are so awesome, like the community leaders. Like one of my personal core values is to be who you needed.
Wow.
And, like, that's what-
Say that.
Like
We
that's what you guys do.
Yeah.
It's like you have become the mentor that you needed. And now all of a sudden in your attempt to like help and serve, it's like what you've just experienced is like you've actually just like lifted your head up and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm the mentor now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's like
it
it's
does,
just
it does.
dawned on
We
you. It's
always
like,
say this,
oh.
and I
Yeah.
think that's what this was all created upon. At the beginning of our journey, we're like, okay, what did we do? We read the books. Okay, when we were losing or when we couldn't figure it out, what do we have? We had each other that were like, you got this. We've got this. Like just positive reinforcement and just talking about uplifting and you've got this, like helping each other out. And so when we did build this out, it was from that. What did we need? Day one.
Yeah.
And then continually just build upon that, right? And I think that's a thing.
I remember thinking, like I was praying and I was just like, why didn't I have this when I first started? Because I would be light years ahead of where, like it took
Same.
4 years to get to where I am now. And it's taking these women like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
6 months, just quantum leaping. And God laid on my heart, he said, because I needed you to be the one to create it. And he like specifically picked, chose us.
That's what each
for that
person is
purpose.
on that leaderboard.
Exactly. The
The
person
one.
that they needed, the mentor that they needed. Yeah.
That's cool.
They are the
Super
one.
powerful.
They're the one.
What does Ed Milet say? You get to be the one
Yeah.
to change.
The one.
Yeah, you're the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
we step into that. And we also help the women in our community step into that. We
Be the
get
one
them
for their
to
family.
say, yes, I am the one. It's powerful.
And we always talk about that because you've got to have that. You've got to have that why. I know that sounds so cliche, but to do anything of success in magnitude. You've got to have that core reason why you're doing this. And I mean, the three of us haven't lived perfect lives. We've had a lot of like heartache and hard times in our life, right? But I think that is what sculpted us and gave us that grit and tenacity. It's like we've felt what it's like to have nothing, to hit rock bottom, to have that desperation of I've got to get out of this place, right? And so through having experienced that, through not knowing what was around the corner, what was coming, but we just kept on going, and we had each other to kind of be here. We always say this every day. Every day you will just wake up with an extra level and an extra layer of gratitude, because being in the position that we're in now, getting to help all these women experiencing this brand new life, is it's like, wow, we know what it's like to have nothing. We know what it's like to go from the bottom and rebuild yourself up. So
yeah, to be so frustrated with your trading that you're like, is this ever going to work? To, having
a lot
to trade with, and to be able to live off of that, and to be able to, like I've talked about before, retire, spouses, or just pursue the things that you always desired. It's like that grit, that determination, that thing that we want to instill in the other women in our community, that, hey, you just keep going, you don't give up, and you're going to get there too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So kind of landing the plane, what I'd love to hear from you guys, because I think it's universally applicable to whether you have your own Skool community in a totally different niche, or you're the one in your community or your family. It's really the business of how do you convince, encourage, inspire people that they can actually change. Because see the technical stuff of like, follow these patterns in this graph, and this is how you actually make the trades. In most niches, I'm like, that's the easy part, right? Because it's like, you just do the thing. But it's the belief in yourself, I think, is the real magic of a good community. And that seems to be what you guys have nailed.
Well, I think it starts with a simple system. Amanda teaches, she's like, I do not want you in the charts for hours and hours and hours. She said this several times. I want you to spend 10 minutes in the charts so you can spend more time working on your mindset, on your personal development, spending time with your family, your friends. What did you start this for?
And we lead by example. We don't just say we're doing these things, we do the things, right? People see you. And so it's that integrity of, we lead by example, and we teach these women, you may not be able to believe in yourself in this moment, but you can borrow our belief. We instill that, you know what, sometimes you're never going to feel ready. You're never going to ever say, I'm ready to learn this thing. I'm confident in myself. I know I can do this. But when you see other women who are just like you, who can do the thing, you go, hey, if she can do it, maybe I can.
So the triangle is the strongest shape, right? Can withhold tons of weight. These two, Gemma and Jen, they are the second and third pillars of what a woman needs in order to be successful in the charts and in life. Because we have our mindset coaching and motivational with Gemma and our personal development. I mean, we literally have scheduled out books every single month of the year that these women are encouraged to read and get on a call with to discuss the chapters every single week and talk through the transformative information that we're learning. This isn't just,
you guys are next level.
This is not just come and learn a silly little skill and see if you can figure out day trading. No, this is three strong pillars of what it takes to be an incredible human being. And we're not just in the business of helping women make money. We are showing them the exact path that we took to have the success that we three have. And we're walking them through that path every single day, with every single live call that we do, with every book that we read, with every motivational call that these women get on. They're transforming every part of their being. It's not just the money part,
right. And your price point is
$35 a month.
Very low. There's a lot of communities on Skool that are $999, like $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And you guys are like all the way down there with your price point.
Yeah.
And that was just birthed from
passion
what
project.
the desire to make it
Yep.
accessible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Phenomenal.
This was like we say at the beginning, we've got so many women who are single moms or having to work 5 jobs. They would not have access to these markets if it's not for us.
And they're the ones who need it most.
And they hit YouTube University and then they go, I definitely can't do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's so much information and it's so overwhelming. So, yeah, like we say, this is our passion project. This is the beginning, right? We're not a year in. There's so many things still to come and coming.
My gosh, yeah.
Like,
should we
we've
talk
got
about the
so
conference?
many amazing things we've got
So many
coming in
things,
the back end. But this was our foundation and we needed it to be that
accessible.
anything that's built upon this point, this will be this offering will stay forever. That
we've had a lot of
anybody
people
can come in.
It's interesting because we've had so many business owners, entrepreneurs, big smart minds come in and say, here's how we should restructure your pricing. Here's how we should do this. You could make this much. And we're like, no, thank you. Sorry. This is it. This is integrity, passion project. Everyone gets access to this information. And we know that we're the best ones to teach it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to end here just with one final question. Like for each of you guys, because there's a really nice energy in the room, so I just kind of want to tap into it. Like if you could go back and give yourself a little piece of advice, like if you could be who you needed, like what would you say to yourself, you know?
I would go back to the girl in 6th grade who was getting punished for bad grades in math. And I would be like, you're going to be somebody. And I would be like, don't let math hold you back, girl. Don't let math hold you back. Don't be afraid of it. Because you're going to be a day trading educator. You know, like I would encourage that little girl to just not let that little tiny thing ever define who you are, who she was.
And I'd go back to myself when I just had my kids and, you know, me and my husband were struggling financially massively. Like it was, had to call our parents-in-law to have money to make our payments so that our mortgage wasn't taken away from us. And being on this pursuit to find, I always knew it in my heart. I was like, I know I'm meant for something massive, right? Like I just felt it in my core. But through that discovery, I had to pay to gain access to the information. So I'd be like, Mom, can I use your credit card? Because I just know I got to do this thing, right? And failing and like being like, man, when am I going to have this? But just, and people saying, why don't you just go back to doing hair? Like, what are you doing? Like, but in my heart, I just knew I just had to keep on taking that next step. So just saying to her, you are doing the right thing. Just keep on going. You don't always know what's around the corner, but as long as you're on the path to progression, it'll show. And I'm so glad that I did that because in those moments when you have nothing, you have yourself, and sometimes that's hard when you're in that position to not just settle, to not just go back to, okay, I can just go back to doing hair, or like I was doing that at the time, but it was tough. But just going back to her and saying, you've got this, you're doing the right thing. And even our failures, it's such a beautiful thing when you're on the other side of it, like in hindsight. You always look back and you go, I am where I am because of experiencing the hardship, the losses, the paying for this and it not working out and doing the next thing. I was like, I had to build that grit. I had to build that hunger. I had to build that tenacity. I had to build it up. So when I landed here, I had that foundation to be like, yeah, we're in it, you know? Yeah. But sometimes when you're in it, it's really hard to keep going. So it's like saying back to her, you are doing the right thing. Keep on going. All of this is worth it 100x. Like, you've got this. Just keep on taking those steps and don't listen to anybody else but the people who have what you want.
Yes.
Because the people giving you the advice are poor people with bad mindsets. No, but it's the truth. Because the people who want to give you advice aren't where you want to be.
They're afraid. They're giving advice out of fear.
Because they see you taking different action.
Right. Yes.
And they're like, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So it's like only taking advice from those who have what you want. And letting go of all the other noise and just staying in your own lane.
Why did they make me want to cry? I'm so proud of these ladies and who they are. And I'm so grateful for friendships that encourage you. I've the confidence, the lack of confidence that I grew up with. I would go back and tell myself that you have some beautiful friends waiting for you. You have some women who are going to speak life over you and encourage you and not let you go back into that hole of lack of confidence. You're going to have people who believe in you and empower you to step up on that place that you have a voice and that other women need to hear what you have to say.
That's good.
And I think what also that makes me just think of my daughters. That makes me think of our daughters. Collectively, we have so many beautiful daughters and children who are watching us, who get to see us step into a powerful version of ourselves.
Well, I got 2 daughters, and I know which school I want them to join.
I love that.
I gotta get them up in age. I'm like, bro, you're not going to college. You're going to
Forex For Women.
yeah. When are you guys offering like Forex for kids?
Oh my gosh.
Forex for daughters.
So many people have asked us that. I need to look into the legalities of that because I think that would be
18,
so cool.
We can.
Well,
There's homeschooling
we could probably
curriculum.
teach.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be
Anyway.
cool.
You could create a curriculum.
Jenny, guys, thank you so much. That was absolutely
you.
beautiful.
Thank you for having
And,
us.
Yeah, thank you so
love
much.
to hear your story and I appreciate you guys sharing it so generously as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You make us feel comfortable.
Yeah,
It's
you-
a safe space to share our story. And
We were so scared prior to this. We're like,
seriously,
but
it's just been
so
delightful.
Special.
You guys crushed it, genuinely.
Yeah.
And if you're impacted or if you're moved by these guys' story today, there'll be a link below. Obviously, you can join Forex for Women. Sounds like the place to be if any of this has resonated with you. Or if you are a community owner and you're like, dude, I want to start a community. I want to have this sort of impact. You can get started for free on Skool today. And other than that, genuinely, loved it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
thank
Thanks for watching.